Hello, Chipari here. Today we're going to be discussing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always Netflix special in terms of the success, in terms of the possibilities for a sequel, and what's to come with the brand. So as it stands right now, the Power Rangers Once and Always Netflix special is currently at number 8 for the most watched Netflix movies. In addition to that, for just being in the United States, it's in 22 other countries as being in the top 10 most watched list. That's pretty good, but as you all know, Netflix doesn't always continue on or make sequels or greenlit new seasons for shows, even if they're in the most watched list. There's different type of analytics that they do that comprise a number of factors to see if there's potential here to build upon. So let's talk about what the Netflix special means going forward. Is this going to have a sequel with the Mighty Morphin cast? Are they going to continue to build upon this legacy quill, as you would call it, for some of the Power Ranger actors of the past 30 years? What is to come after this? So there's what we know and what we can theorize. In terms of what we know that there is Cosmic Fury that has already been filmed. It's currently in post-production. I think that they were talking about that they were completing post-production on episode 2 at the moment of a 10-episode series. Anticipate that series to kind of premiere, let's say, in the late summer months into September. But that's what we know. Cosmic Fury has been filmed, it's in post-production, and this acts almost like a third season to Dino Fury. In terms of what can be theorized is that actor David Yost as Billy will be continuing from the Once and Always special into the Cosmic Fury series over the course of those 10 episodes. Not sure if he's going to be in the entirety of that season, but he'll probably be in at least one episode or more as some type of mentor. So we know Cosmic Fury, we know that it's going to have the same actors continuing from Dino Fury, and then in addition to having one of the legacy actors in the form of David Yost's Billy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But with those 10 episodes, what happens after that? Do we get another Once and Always sequel? Do we get something else entirely? So based on what has been identified through the Hasbro earnings calls, is that Jenny Klein will be the showrunner for this new Power Ranger series, which is going to be a more adult skewing reboot. So all intents and purposes is that we're moving away from the canon that's been established for 30 years and moving into this new universe that it's going to be more akin to like a Stranger Things, a more young adult series for Power Rangers, but not based in any prior iteration. This is brand new, presumably brand new suits, a brand new storyline, not connected to any previous iteration, but has the Power Rangers IP. So the current showrunner, Simon Bennett, unfortunately, even with the success of the Netflix special, he's dealing with a lot of online bullying amongst Twitter and some of the Power Rangers fandom. But even with him trying to discuss his position, his contributions, which he's had many, and he's been a positive aspect of the brand, it seems as if he is, in fact, not hired by Hasbro to continue the Power Rangers series after Cosmic Fury. So we're all thankful, at least from my standpoint, him having been a part of Beast Morphers, then being the showrunner for Dino Fury and this upcoming Cosmic Fury, and then he had actually established as kind of a interim special. This Once and Always special was a last minute idea that had been crafted, and we got that reunion special thanks to Simon Bennett as the showrunner, kind of spearheading the brand. Now with Simon Bennett departing the brand, we now have Jenny Klein set to take over. And all intents and purposes, based on the information we have, is that this is supposed to gear up into production for the upcoming reboot towards the end of this year. So most likely fall 2023, they'll be spearheading the production of the new series, presumably to be on a streaming platform, and once again to be a completely new, a new iteration of the series, not connected with anything prior. So where does that leave the Power Ranger brand overall? Are we just going to have this this new reboot that hypothetically, if it's being in production at the end of 2023, maybe we'll get it in 2024. What happens? What happens with the brand? Well, presumably it takes a hiatus. until that new series comes out, you've got almost a year gap between Cosmic Fury ending and whatever the new reboot is. What about the Power Rangers movie that had been discussed by director and writer Jonathan Entwistle? For all intents and purposes, it seems like he's still going to be acting as some type of producer, maybe storyline contributions to the Jenny Klein series, but it seems like all indications that that movie is no longer happening. That is, at this point, conjecture, but it's being deciphered from the information that we're getting right now, that they're putting all their eggs into that new reboot series. So, no movie, getting an adult skewing TV series by showrunner Jenny Klein, no longer going to have Simon Bennett or the old canon connected to that. So what happens otherwise for Power Ranger fans? What happens with the old continuity that had been established for the past 30 years? Unknown. It seems as if that there have been talks that there's going to be a second series established as well, but no new information regarding that series. There has been some discussion that if you were to watch the investment call, that they'd pursue potential scenarios for animation. So my guesstimation would be is if we were to get a second series, that it would be animated, and that would probably be, in my opinion, more akin to the previous a canon, or at least kind of a connective tissue to some of the more sillier elements of the Power Rangers mythology. So could we see an animated Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or a reestablishment of that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers brand in animated form? That's probably the way I think it would go, that we get some type of animated Power Ranger series that is for children and kids. But then we'd also have this adult skewing series as well. Hasbro's big benefit, or what Hasbro does to continue these brands, to keep on reinvigorating these series, to keep on rebooting these series like Transformers and G.I. Joe, is to animate them. So you've got a number of iterations of Transformers in animated form. You've got a number of forms of G.I. Joe in animated form, and they just kind of refresh it every couple of years. So I'd expect them, if that's their forte, they'll continue in that. So you get a live action series, and you'll get potentially an animated series. Will you get the comic books? It's really based on Boom Studios being able to continue with their contract with that brand. I think it would be a huge benefit if Boom Studios were able to kind of play in that playground and that once and always a post Cosmic Fury world, to see what happens to the Rangers, and they have full range with no limitations, that they can craft the story, they can craft the canon, and continue the series, much like what we've seen with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Firefly before that. To once a series ends, the comic books can take the storyline over thereafter, and they're the only form to kind of find out what happens in that previous universe. So that's what we're kind of looking at right now. So there's going to be a year hiatus after Cosmic Fury, and then we're going to have to get ready for something entirely new. But from what has been identified, especially in Simon Bennett's Twitter, is that this is kind of the end for him as showrunner, and he hasn't been hired for anything else, and there are no other specials in the works. So hopefully, as Power Ranger fans, you're still excited for this reboot. You're still excited for potentially an animated series, if that's the other project that they're looking to do. And then hopefully Boom Studios still continues with the contract for that brand, and they can continue to kind of jump into that universe and make those comic series that kind of continue the 30 years of Power Rangers. Does all this mean that all the actors like Walter Jones, David Yost, Amy Jo Johnson, and Austin St. John, some of the other actors, are no longer going to be connected to the brand? No. As we all know as well, Amy Jo Johnson has announced that she will be writing a Power Rangers comic series. So we are getting that as well. So the Power Rangers comic series, it's going to start with for many of you that may not know, there is a Kickstarter. I believe it closed already, but there is a Kickstarter for Boom Studios for a 30th anniversary comic book, in addition to collected collections of those comics. And that Kickstarter A part of that Kickstarter, one of the extended goals, was an 8-page prelude to this Amy Jo Johnson series that seems like she's written at least part of it. So that Kickstarter, if for anyone that participates in that Kickstarter, which I have as well, and you've donated, you'll get whatever the what you pledged in terms of the form of, you get either a collection of Power coins, you get the 30th anniversary comic book, you might get collected editions of the comics as produced by Boom Studios, but you're also receiving the 8-page prelude to Amy Jo Johnson's comic series that she has written herself, that she has crafted herself. Now, this is her interpretation of Power Rangers. This is going to be something, once again, a new continuity, presumably as designed from her mind, as written by her. So the 8-page prelude will be in those anniversary collections. I believe the ship date is for later this year. And then you're going to have most likely the Amy Jo Johnson comic series, which is its entirely new continuity. So for fans, there's not necessarily a complete gap here. You are still going to get stories in comic book form regardless, and you still have those legacy actors still connected with it in some form or fashion, in this case, Amy Jo Johnson as being a creator. So there's still plenty to look forward to. It's just going to be very different from what we're used to. Beyond that, it's completely unknown. If they do an animated series by Hasbro, will those previous legacy actors be connected to it? Are the legacy actors going to be showing up in the Reboot series? Completely unknown at this time. But there's still plenty to look forward to as a Power Ranger fan. And even though Hasbro doesn't necessarily dedicate the time, resources, and effort that they do to most of their other brands like Transformers or Star Wars, or in some cases G.I. Joe, there's still something for us to be able to grasp onto, to be able to collect, to be able to purchase, and for us to be able to watch. Hopefully, not being a fan of the Power Rangers movie that came out some years ago, hopefully this new series is still fun and still is able to grab the attention of everyone. I think that this project has been in production for quite some time now, so hopefully they've taken the time and dedication to get it right. So hopefully you like some of this information, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know anything that you'd want to see in terms of Power Rangers coverage. And until next time, go Power Rangers.